I'm not ready. You're gonna have to run it back, sorry.
Nope.
You got...
Nope. Cold open.
This is not a cold open. Please, for me, Brendan. Please, Brendan.
No, this
Please,
is gold.
Brendan. Please, fuck you. They put us on this earth only to suffer.
Who's they?
Fucking Brendan. Welcome to Everyone I Know, the podcast where we argue about the mundane, and my Brendan will never, ever let me redo an intro as bad as I fuck it up.
It's the best part of the
Punk
podcast.
ethos.
I'm here with my producer, Brendan, or just my Brendan producer.
Hello.
I'm here with not my brother, Chris,
Your brother Nick.
but my brother, Nick, my good friend, Nick.
Your good work, lad.
Host of Chip Dippers.
Host of Chip
Host of
Dippers.
Chip Dippers in hiatus, but big news coming around the corner, I'm sure.
And what's the theme of Chip Dippers?
You just review chips. Every episode, you review one bag of chips. You do it a chip at a time, and you talk about the chips. And you exchange some quips with your good friendy dips.
Patent pending.
Patent pending.
This episode of Everyone I Know is brought to you by Patreon.com. Kind of. It's by you guys. You guys are giving us money directly, you fools. Patreon.com/Everyone I Know. We have Pengus candles and Pengus figurines. Usually Chris does this part, but Chris is gone today.
I should have done it.
Do you want to do it?
No,
Go ahead.
I don't know any of it.
Oh, okay, cool. We have the pleasure this week, we have the honor this week of having a very interesting musician from the area that I'm excited to hear from. They are Tyler, a.k.a. DJ Destroit. What's up?
Oh, just kind of want to know what your favorite chips and dips are.
Oh, I don't eat chips recreationally. Professional level only. Out of character, breaking kayfabe. I love those dill pickle chips. Come on.
Yeah, those are the best.
Are you a dill pickle fan, Tyler?
Yeah, no, I hate sweet pickles. I'm sorry if that causes like a divide in your fan base, but
It causes a divide at this table.
Really?
my
Wait, are you a
God,
sweet
so
pickle
sorry.
I'm
guy?
a sweet pickle guy.
What?
Oh my God.
My wife
You're
is
rare.
the queen of the dill pickles,
Yeah.
so she takes
The good
great
pickles, you
offense.
mean.
I
You
made
have
some.
to balance out the...
I did make some pickled red onions this morning though, and just had them with my dinner, and it was lovely.
Was
You know
it?
what's a good little pickle tip? If you finish up your jar of pickles, this is gonna sound like a joke, but it's not. If you finish up your jar of pickles, dip some Cheez-Its in there. It's good.
This is an EIK exclusive recipe.
I'm gonna head out. I'll see you guys.
Wow.
So Tyler is putting on a show soon this week, Friday. If you're listening, whenever you're listening, every Friday, who cares? But what is it? The 25th of October in
Yeah,
Troy?
25th of October, 9 to 2 a.m. And
2 a.m.
That's
yeah.
past my bedtime.
Yeah, that's scary.
Will you ask, like, you maybe talk to my mom on the phone and say this would be totally cool, like,
yeah,
if I stay out a
If
little
there's
later?
something that they can sign. or
yeah,
something.
permission slips. Yeah, you're allowed to go to what was it, Hogsmeade or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Harry Potter's like, I just want to go. Yeah.
He's a growing boy.
I always empathize with that. I'm like, me too.
That was messed up. There's like, you don't have parents, so technically you can't get the slip. I'm like, it's kind of cruel.
Yeah. Like my parents
could
are
find
dead. They're
some
like,
kind
we
of-
don't care.
It's like, yeah, we know. Everybody knows you're the famous orphan.
Yeah.
I made you a little song. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
I'm nervous.
I hope it doesn't blow everyone's ear out because we didn't test it.
Blow everyone's minds.
Oh, it's going to be great. You have no idea how hard it was to make the computer voice say Destroyed. I would type it in normal style, and it would be like, DJ Destroyed.
The students.
Destroyed.
It was.
I appreciate the effort.
We try our best on the show to rip things from people's social media and then make them into media, because that's usually the promo pictures and stuff like that. Like, it's all just like,
It's all theft.
yeah, it's all theft. I go on your social media, and they're usually like, I like go to, like, on Instagram, you can't steal pictures unless you like inspect and stuff. So I'll like go into the code. I'm like a super hacker, I know how to find a JPEG in a
Can
web
you
page.
be arrested for revealing this?
I'm actually anonymous, so
It's the Digital Millennium Copyright
I love
Act.
your work.
You're done now.
okay, so I think we should just. Oh, we got the Old Man Minute. For those who are new to the show and who aren't my brother, who usually reads this segment, we have our father listen to every episode of the podcast, and then he sends in an email each week describing and recapping the last episode.
Hello.
It's called the Old Man Minute.
Old man, how you doing?
Steve.
Steve, think about growing your mustache back out. That's my minute for you. Go on.
Howdy, EIK fellas. It was great having dinner with Chris, Andy, Miss Olivia, and Vader at Albany Ale and Oyster today. It's great once again being a two-car family. Another week or so, and you would have been reading about us in the Utica OD. Let's
It's an
go.
obituary joke.
I guess so.
But
Topic
everyone's gonna
1.
die.
Okay.
Would you sell your concert ticket? Fuck yes. Topic 2. Choose your own office adventure. That scenario you proposed about letting your boss sleep with you sent a chill up my spine. Back when I was old Johnny B's employee, we were working at a client out of town. When we went to our hotel, the cheap fuck could only reserve one room. The room only had one king-size bed. He said something like, "Oh shit, well, what side do you want?" I screamed, "Are you out of your fucking mind? I sleep in the fucking lobby." He got all defensive and ordered a roll-away bed for me. Needless to say, I didn't get a great night's sleep for more than one reason. I never left arranging the accommodations up to him again. Topic 3. Let's smooch monsters. There was a significant lack of female monsters offered up for smooching. Allow me to offer a few. Eileen Warnos, Casey Anthony, and the Tooth Fairy. I'm convinced Casey Anthony murdered her own child, so that's a no-go. I don't think that Warnos and myself would have much in common, as I'm a bit of a homebody and she was more of a travel bug. Which leaves the Tooth Fairy, who I think I could get along with just fine, as we're both in finance. I could help her get some leniency on her taxes, as I have a decent amount of clout with the local IRS. Love, old man. Alex Jones went to Trump's rally in Dallas last week in an armored vehicle that looked like a tripped-out SUV with a hatch in the roof. Can you imagine Trump's exchange with his aides? Aide, Mr. President, Alex Jones is outside in a turret on an armored vehicle with a bullhorn. Trump, anyone got a clean shot? Aide, too many witnesses, Mr. President. Trump, right. Then deliver. I should be reading this in the voice. Right. Then deliver 2 large pepperonis, 50 hot to his vehicle. Maybe he'll gorge and fall asleep. That's way too many words for President
Yeah, that's
Trump.
true.
Aide.
That's a whole play.
Outstanding, Mr. President. Should I have the SEAL sniper step down? No. Let's wait.
Honestly, your Trump impersonation's better than Alec Baldwin's, like by a long
It's just
shot.
terrible.
Get
It's
the
the
job.
face is the key to his whole thing.
Yeah, I feel like that's how he makes the.
It's just that.
Yeah.
He's
It's
got
just-
nothing else.
It's just because they just look visually similar, which is like, if I was Alec Baldwin, I would be like, you know what? Don't make me Trump. I don't need people to look at me in that way. But
But
I'd
I need
probably
a lot
look
of
at
money
him-
after my career was shut down by screaming at my poor daughter.
oh yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
that
he
was
doesn't
him.
need to play Trump for him to remind me of him. Really.
Yeah, he's a very
He
similar
does it all
character.
by himself.
All right.
All right.
Well, on that note, we're gonna move on now
Is the
to
Tooth Fairy? I'm so going. I'm sorry.
talk about the Tooth Fairy. Go ahead.
Is the Tooth Fairy a monster? I didn't.
No,
I, didn't
I
know
was
about
going to
that.
call that out. It's not, the Tooth
like
Fairy,
a-
that's a cop-out.
Yeah, that was also an
creature.
edit. It was worse.
Okay.
All right. And with that, on that note, we're moving on now to the interview.
I like the drip at the end.
Whoop. Okay. So
Having Nick on is like having the podcast plus the podcast DVD commentary.
Yeah, I'm not really present. I'm really floating above everything.
So you're like the Morgan Freeman right now of the show.
Yes, in pretty much just that way.
Yeah.
I'm not God.
You're not dating.
I never claimed to be God.
Doesn't Morgan Freeman have didn't he marry his daughter or something, stepdaughter? He kind of pulled a Woody Allen, I'm pretty sure.
Let's just dish.
Yeah, let's just dish
But
about
old
Morgan Freeman. Old men.
It's the interview.
Yeah,
Okay.
we stumbled onto the truth that rich old men are kind of scumbags a lot of the time.
Wow, groundbreaking
concept.
stuff.
Groundbreaking. We really nailed this here.
Wow.
Okay. Tyler, you have a show coming up, Catharsis.
Yeah.
Round 3?
Yeah, it's the third one.
It's a trilogy.
Tell us what it is.
Okay, so my event is called Catharsis. It's a goth, industrial, post-punk dance night.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it runs from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. And this time around, we're having burlesque and drag. So I'm really excited for that. I'm going to just put this little surprise out there. Is one of the performers is actually me, and I've never done burlesque and
Wow.
drag, but
Damn.
I'm really excited.
Are you
Good for
nervous?
you.
Yeah, I'm nervous as hell. Yeah, no, because I'm already a queer person who blends in with cis people all the time because I have a cis live-in partner.
Mhm.
For those who don't know what cis means, it's cisgender, which means you identify with the gender you were assigned at birth. And yeah, one of the things that I really wanted to incorporate was the idea of it not being an exclusionary space. So I've included in every post,
Goth
yes,
is for everyone.
yeah, and that might sound really hokey and almost like the "Everything Is Awesome" song from the Lego Movie, but
First of all, that song slaps.
it does slap. But yeah, I've always had people come to me like, "Oh, I can't come out. I don't have the clothes, or I don't think I'll fit in. I'll stick out." And I'm like, I've met so many different kind of people that I associate with this culture because it's really a culture. It's not just about the way you look. But my favorite rivet heads and goths and just people that gravitate towards it are the people who wear fucking Hawaiian shirts, cargo pants, and Doc Martens.
Hell yeah.
So,
I can be a goth too.
exactly. No, it's really about just feeling like there's a space for you because like top 40 bars are
Yeah.
kind of full of the worst. Sorry for those who love top 40 bars. But, it's kind of full of the worst behavior that really makes people feel like they don't want to go out. There's
Right.
no way to connect with people in that environment. And I want people to feel like they can dance and they don't have to worry about the way they look and that they might discover music that they like or even just enjoy it enough in the moment to forget about worrying about fitting in.
Yeah.
So
That sounds super fun.
yeah.
I mean,
What
every.
kind of
Go ahead.
also, what kind of music?
So I listed the 3 mainly because I would say I play more post-punk than EBM because EBM gets thrown at every kind of different dance music and
EBM.
electronic body music.
Body music.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Ooh.
or bass
Or bass.
or whatever. EDM too.
Yeah,
Electronic
dance
dance
music.
music. But
So it's like a body high, where IDM is like a
More sativa.
It's like that
yes,
shit.
yes.
I get that.
For
That's
sure.
chill.
But yeah, I've been going out for almost 10 years in the goth and industrial community scene, although I hate the word scene. I think it's ridiculous and kind of overused. But
But there's people that you see over and over.
yeah,
That's a
that's a
scene.
different kind of scene.
You've seen
Yeah.
them.
Seat.
You've seen
Seen.
it's a scene.
Yeah, I just kind of really wanted to create my own space because I really owe a lot to the promoters and DJs and organizers who've made the spaces that really helped me in really hard times open up and really feel better about myself. Feel like there were people for me out there when I felt really alone and was going through some really, really bad times. And now I'm here and I've only done this. This is going to be the third time, but it's pretty overwhelming to have people come up to you and say things like, I've been going out for 20 years and this is the best goth club I've ever been to. Like, that's
That's
a
a
heavy
big deal.
compliment because
That's
I'm
a
only
big deal.
26. So it's just like, it's like the good kind of existential crisis.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
I don't think I've been to a goth club. I don't think they've been available.
Well, they used to be a really big deal in the late 80s, probably even earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the earliest ones opened around 79 in Chicago called Neo. Someone's going to message you like, that's not right. Sorry, guys, I don't fact check. But, yeah, like, in the late 80s and early 90s and even, like, late 90s, like, there used to be a lot more goth bars, and they started to fizzle out over time as, like, it just, like, almost like the like cliche of like it's just a phase, and it's like now
Goth is
people are
dead.
growing up and raising families and all that good stuff, but there are still people that are really dedicated to it. And Hangar on the Hudson's not really a club, it's a venue that you have to rent out.
Okay.
And I had to really really work diligently
To get it.
to get that spot, because originally I was supposed to have it at River Street Pub, which unfortunately got shut
down for various
Yeah,
things.
it was really sad because we were doing shows there, like actual like bands and stuff, and it was really fun. It was a great time, and really liked the owner. But it happened like not even a couple weeks before we were supposed to.
So that like really throws a wrench into the
Yeah,
momentum.
and it was pretty devastating, and I was really worried that I would never find another venue because this area doesn't really have a lot of venues, especially not for nightlife. So
Yeah, you have to trash basements and then move to the next one.
It really
after the
used
cops
to be,
find
though.
out.
yeah, well, there was Bogies, even though Bogies just smelled like grease and was terrible from what I heard.
when
There
you went
were-
outside, it smelled like a delicious pizza pie.
Yeah.
In the late 90s, this was a very big music town.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, bands that were touring or acts that were touring would usually do Boston, New York, and then in between, in whatever direction, they would do Albany.
Yeah.
But
And
it
it would be-
fizzled out very badly after that.
And that would be the connecting thing that would allow them to go to Utica, New York.
Yeah.
Oh yes, home of tomato pie.
And then
And chicken
Little
riggies.
Falls, baby.
And then from Little Falls, you're coming back to Niskayuna.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still have. I mean, there were still a lot of clubs and stuff. Not around here, but I'm from downstate, and it was still a pretty big thing when I was in high school in the late 90s. So I'm
Yeah.
old.
Oh, I mean, I'm small, but when I started going out around like 2000, late 2011, early 2012, I honestly like didn't know if like it was gonna be a place for me, and like the first experience was like I'm in the parking lot, I'm pre-gaming with my roommate, and he's like playing fucking Gravediggers, and then he's playing Pigface, and I'm like, who is this? And he's like, it's Pigface, and he's like singing the words, mixing his vodka with his guava juice, which, oh my god, disgusting. But eventually I'm like, I just want to go in, I'm nervous, I need to do this. And he's like, okay, and he chugs the rest of a drink, and then we're walking in, I'm like, where are we going? And there's just this like door on the side of a building, which is an old hotel in Detroit. And it's like,
nice.
all right, this is literally like what I imagined was gonna happen. I'm a little nervous, so like you have to really pull the door open because it sticks funny, and there's no sign. And then you walk in, you have to go up the stairs, even though it's technically the basement of this hotel.
Oh,
And then
That's how they do it in Chicago. They
sounds haunted.
oh,
they
this
put the basements on the second
this
floor.
was Detroit.
Oh, Detroit, sorry.
Yeah, and like
That's how they also do it in Detroit.
well, basically, yeah. Yeah, no, you walk in and there's just like glowing purple lights and like those like cinder blocks that you can see through, and there's all kinds of fancy like. There's like a graveyard mural on the wall. It was real intense. And I was just like, wow, this is like what I wish like everywhere was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like that person that's like hardcore about like spooky shit, but it's just nice to be around people that like don't always take themselves too seriously.
Well, I think that like from my experiences when I ever like been in spaces with like goth people and stuff like that, like at the Hidden Show when I met you, I usually the Hidden Show is like a bunch of dudes in hats. Like that's kind of like there's a lot of good kids, but like it's a pretty
Good
like
hats.
homogenous space. And then I like people started coming out. I was like, all right, here we go, okay. And then you started playing, and like I was talking to Cody for listeners on the Cody Davies, and you were playing, it was getting intense, and I was like, I looked at him and I said, we should probably have like a harm reduction tent or something like that. He's like, that gives me an idea, and he goes in the back and turns off the lights. But that was quite a show that you put on at Superior Merchandise.
Thanks.
I love that place.
No,
I wish I could have been there.
I was really nervous, and a lot of my friends couldn't make it, and I was just like, I'm gonna spin my balls off. It's just gonna be really heavy. I don't even care. And that was like the most in the zone I have felt, and I didn't even really practice that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I made a couple of like switches to my set on the fly, and I felt really good about it, and everyone was having fun, and they were people I didn't know, most of those people.
It was impressive.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'm playing my crowd, and they didn't stop dancing the whole time. It was good.
And nobody took a smoke break the whole time.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
I was only there one time, and it was infectious. Everyone was nice, and there were a bunch of hats. And I never stopped dancing.
No,
I don't think there's enough spaces in the world where you could just go and dance.
there aren't.
It doesn't exist anymore.
And
Unless you make them, unless you rent out a
Yeah.
big room.
yeah, and
This Friday.
I'm saying,
Troy, Hanger on the Hudson.
like I was really nervous because it's taking a gamble, and like the owner is taking a gamble on you by renting out the space. So it's just like, I know that I have friends, but do I have enough friends to make the money? Like, it's okay if I lose like $20, but like I don't want to lose like $200. Yeah, it's not as much as like some rooms. Some rooms are like $800 and up, but like luckily, we usually make just enough, and like that's fine. I'm not in it to make money. I just want to make the space, and I want to play things and introduce people to new music like I was when I was like 18. So, and I want people to feel like the same thing I felt when I was in the Midwest. Like New York City, like goth is like different, and East Coast mindset with this stuff is very different. And I just really want to create a space that is very welcoming, and I don't want people to feel like they're excluded. But I also really push, like, if you can't be respectful to other people and you can't like ask and stuff, then you're not gonna stick around.
Getting
Yeah.
booted.
If here's a public service announcement: when somebody says a space is for everyone and that offends you, don't come.
Yeah. It's really a bad
If you're
idea.
offended by the idea of people having like a nice time, all different types of people having a nice time, you probably aren't gonna have fun regardless. So don't come and
Sound
ruin
like
other
a-
people's fun.
a comic book villain.
Yeah.
If you're
For
angered
sure.
by the idea of people having fun.
When I
Sound
was
like
in
Cobra Commander.
when I was in high school, the thing to do was you would rent the like party halls at firehouses.
Yeah.
That's what we were all about. So we would do that all the time, and then all the local bands we would book shows for, and then like you would rent it and hope enough people showed up that you could make enough money back. But usually what happened is this would go great for a while, and then somebody would decide to sell alcohol there. And then the firehouse would be like, yeah, we can't do this anymore.
Oh boy.
But it was so much fun. And it was great for bringing new people. And the thing about those shows was they were all ages. So you could get a lot of younger people that would come in. Because even like last like 10 years when I was playing in a band, it's tough to get younger people.
It's tough to get younger people, and it also creates more liability for a venue,
Absolutely.
especially around the
Yeah.
Capital District. Like they've gotten really aggressive about carding people because bars are getting shut down
Yeah.
for
Oh,
minors
yeah.
sneaking in
That was a
and
big
like
thing.
being allowed in or getting fake IDs and stuff. So bars are really, really like pushing like to keep that not their problem. So it sucks because I don't make this an all ages event, and I want to, but I don't. I
It's a
don't
lot.
want that. It's like, do I risk this whole thing for like younger folks? Which I hate to make it like this ultimatum, but I just can't really. I can't justify doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's a risk, and I feel bad because those people also don't have a space. And I remember
Right.
being younger and being like, oh my God, when I turn 21, I can go to these places and I can go to these other parties that aren't 18 plus. And like, yeah, it wasn't fun to feel like on the outside looking in a lot, but
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard to make those decisions. I don't like it.
Yeah, we should write our congressman about these type of things.
Yeah.
Congressman
Dear
Tonko.
King
Let-
Cuomo.
Actually, speaking of, I mean, obviously, there's always been an element of legislative oppression of like queer spaces and stuff like that, and like the literally just repealed the cabaret law, like which was like if people are dancing in your bar, you can get shut down for that kind of stuff, and the express purpose of that was to shut down gay bars in New York City. And that's like it was I think it was what, the 70s or the 80s that it was put into action.
I think it was the early 70s.
Early
I think
70s.
if I have my history correct, it was a response not just to gay bars, but it was really a response to like drag clubs and stuff.
Okay, because that was the thing too.
So those were huge in New York City in that time period.
Yeah, I mean they're still there, but not as
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene got routed really bad. And
Yeah.
obviously the AIDS epidemic didn't do any favors for
Right.
that scene too.
In Stonewall.
Stonewall.
Stonewall. I said it wrong the first time.
Yeah, the law has not been kind in New York.
No, definitely not.
No, and like it's not exclusively a queer space, but I just really want that to be like mentioned as much as possible
Yeah.
because I want to validate my own identity and I want other people to feel like they don't have to just keep being misgendered because people just don't get it.
Yeah.
You know, when I introduce myself to people near the beginning of the evening, I ask them their pronouns and a lot of people are like, what? And I'm like, you know, like, does someone refer to you as he likes this or blah, blah, blah? And they're like, oh. And I was like, see, for example, this is mine. See this little fancy pen? And they're like, oh, look at that. And I'm like, yeah, look at that.
You're meeting different kinds of people.
Right? Crazy. What
Welcome
a concept.
to the world.
Yeah. But, you know, I don't preach, like, I don't, like, come off very condescending because I'm going into social work. So I understand that people's exposure is depending on where they live and
Yeah.
like where they end up frequenting. So you also have to be radically patient for the new kinds of people that come into your space. But it's a fine line between like being accepting and then also making sure they're not like grinding on people who are looking really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah, you gotta. There's a line between my space and your space.
Yeah.
And there's a line between MySpace and Facebook as well. And
You took
Right.
the words out of my mouth.
sorry, I said MySpace, and then my brain was like,
Can't let this opportunity slip by.
Why
But
do
yeah.
you think that the goth scene, although it has changed forms a lot, has persisted for so long?
I think it's because there always like needs to, it's not even necessarily like counterculture. Like most people would probably consider it counterculture, but to me it's just this other alternative. And to be quite honest, like top 40 bars, like it's basically like a glorified clothed orgy. Like you go in there and you can't move. People don't care if they're touching you. I've even tried going to like different shows like that played R&B because I like R&B too. And then like enough times of people like grabbing on my hips and stuff, I was like, all right, I'm leaving. I can't with this. Like it's unfortunate because I love this music, but I can't fuck with this.
Yeah.
So
I just like being able to go to the bathroom at any time.
I mean,
And
you
in
know,
crowded bars.
that's a thing, but also
problem.
like, you know, as someone who just doesn't even really like sexualize my body like 24/7, having
Oh,
other
yeah.
people constantly do it to you is just really exhausting. So
oh, I
Yeah.
can't. I
not
can't
being
even
able
imagine.
to like walk through a crowd and not have people just grab your chest like straight up and like look you in the eye while they're doing it, like it's straight up an act of violence.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, I don't like bars, and I would like to like bars because I like to go out and I like to see people, but loudness is a trouble for me. Was when it's not like a performance. Like if I'm at a concert, I understand it's gonna be loud. That's fine. But like
I don't even like that.
you don't like that.
I
You
tell
don't
them to quiet down.
say, "Hey, you're scaring my mom. Cut it out."
It's like, who are you, the Who? You just made that up. Pipe down. I'm trying to sleep here.
I'm trying to sleep in the toilet. But
Where
like
I live.
it's just one of those things where like you go into certain spaces, especially if you haven't been in one in a while, you realize like how aggressive it really can be. You know, like you go into like a sports bar or something like that, and like while the game's on, you're like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like,
It's
yeah,
a whole nother culture.
it is, but
And you have to respect it.
I honestly feel like it's continued because it is an alternative for people to feel like they can actually connect. Like it can get loud at like goth bars too. Like if the sound man like just doesn't give a shit, or like you don't have a sound man,
Right.
or some people are just getting real happy with the gain and whatnot and the low end. But honestly, it just provides that space for queer people, for people who do feel really different and who don't want to have to sacrifice the way they feel about going out and dancing. And like it's a space where usually there's no judgment. Like everyone dances and they respect each other's space for the most part. And like there's no expectations other than being respectful and just enjoying yourself and knowing that everybody's here and they're there to have that kind of communal feeling without
Yeah.
even having to talk. It's very hard to describe, but I just know that it's played an important part in music and it's played an important part in culture, especially alternative culture.
Oh, absolutely.
Like metal culture is like bros with leather and stunts, and then punk culture is very DIY. It's like Elmer's and like shitty beer and like the most like PMA, like fun, aggressively like positive politics, you know? And like I don't know, with goth it's just like it can be very philosophical. It can be very, you know, soft and like romantic and like, oh my god, death or whatever. And then there's industrial, which is like metal and guitars and drums and like sometimes just straight up synthesizers that are real angry sounding. And metal.
Yeah,
Long
now we're
nails.
talking.
Yeah, metals. All the metals.
Nails
Yeah.
up to, but not
to exceed.
to exceed 9 inches.
Yes.
Yeah,
That took me
too.
a long time to say that. I'll see you guys.
Wow.
So, whenever I think of goths and I think of that kind of a scene, and even not even just restricted to goths, like even like the rave scene and stuff like that, like the '90s rave scene, I always think of like Satanists, like the idea that like you have this culture of purposefully like looking at the outlying people and saying, we're going to come together. We're going to make this our space where we're going to have like a communal experience. And I think that is really like, it's a very powerful thing that you can do when you do that. Cause you take like kind of some of the negative energies that are around that and kind of flip them around and say, instead of having this be like a barb that you can throw at me, I'm actually going to turn around on you. And like, maybe you're the fucking square if you can't come in this space and be cool.
Yeah, basically, I like, you know, it is that, but less of like aggressiveness so much. It's like there are people that call them tourists when like I call it normcore, but I don't mean anything offensive really by it. It's just like everything's a core something, post-war, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, whatever.
Apple.
But
Oh.
God damn it. Is that because we're in New York? Thanks for that.
Yeah.
It's always on my
It's
mind.
apple season.
Oh my God.
You gotta
Indian
see
Ladder
the
Farms.
leaves change color. Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it is this, you're challenging people who go to those other bars' perspective on social like etiquette, essentially, which is usually non-existent. I
Right.
hate to be an asshole, but I should probably have asked if I can swear this much, but
Yeah, you
Yeah,
swear
no,
as much
it's
as you
cool.
want.
okay, sorry.
My dad listens, but he's cool too.
Sorry.
Is
Sorry,
They're
Dad.
all like fucking swearing.
Wow.
We do big swears here. We
Big
say the
swears,
S
little
word. We
swears.
say the F word.
We
say
go all the way up to butt.
yeah,
We'll even say butt.
with
I don't
two
know if
T's.
that's too rich for your blood. We will say it though, if we need to.
You've used up all the butts, so we can do for one episode.
Okay.
Okay.
No more conjunctions, guys.
Oh no, I'm
Wow.
really sorry. You
Oh
guys.
my god.
So yeah, you know, it's just, I feel like people who explore like the alternative to their top 40 bars or just the bars in their neighborhood really feel out of place and uncomfortable. So a lot of times they do what most kids in like high school do. They tease you and they make fun of you. If they're with friends, they point and laugh at people who are dancing, or they get a group of their bros together and try to like corner women, and like that's totally not predatory at all. And like usually when I call them out on that behavior, especially when I've been go-go dancing and I crouched down and I looked them dead in the face and I said, are you clueless? Like, this is really uncomfortable. Can you maybe give me some room to breathe? And then they just stand there like looking at each other. I'm like, can you hear? Like, hello? And they're just like backing away slowly. I've shoved men across the room who just kept touching me and grabbing me when I was dancing. It gets really annoying. And it's not even just annoying. It, like, after a while, makes you question if you should even bother at all.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter how you're dancing. It's never an excuse. Like,
No.
Yeah, it's so shitty. 'Cause I
yeah.
don't know.
It's
It's
very
hard enough to even leave the house sometimes, and then
Right.
just
To have to fight that
have
kind
to
of
fight
energy.
to just have
Yeah.
a night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's a bummer.
I mean, my main priority with this space is making sure people feel safe, like hearing out people's concerns and like ideas, and also just like sometimes like cultures get stuck in a rut. Like I'll hear this when I go to other places, I hear the same songs over and over again, and like they're good songs, but you know what? There's still new music coming out and it's amazing. And like I want people to hear it, and I want to like get them to listen to it, even if I have to sandwich it between two older songs. It's like, gotcha, bitch.
And do
But-
you know what else? There's new old music too.
Yeah, I call it the new school, old school.
People don't even know about.
Yeah, no, but that's
Real
actually
old.
a real thing. Like,
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just
Definitely.
spitballing.
No, that's
I know. That's why I just had to take that and mess up your joke. Sorry, bro.
That's okay. No, I mean, I was serious. I mean, that's like a thing. I feel like there's constantly new music coming out, but then you'll be like, there was something released in Scandinavia. There was one disc made in 1960. They recorded it on a can.
Yeah. No.
a can of canned
You
fish.
should really write copy for album releases. that was really good.
I mean, it's cool though.
Yeah,
You
you
can
know.
find some stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of
People
great
on
stuff
the
from the
net.
90s that's still like, I'll like come across a band from the 90s that I never listened to. I'll be like, oh, these guys are great.
Have you
When did
been
their
on
album come out?
The net.
The 90s.
I've never heard of them. The 90s.
Yeah, I'm always going to Chris. I'm like, and trying to get him to listen to music from the 90s that I
Really?
like.
He likes
Speaking of
spooky
the
music.
90s, though, I can't stop listening to October Rust by Typo Negative. I've listened to it like every day for the past 2 weeks. My partner's like, you need to chill. And I'm
No,
like, I
you
can't
should just
chill.
keep listening to it because it's great.
It's
Oh.
like one of the best albums ever. I like Peter Steele was like such a character, and reading about him and just like thinking about I was thinking about this podcast, and it's like people like Peter Steele were like the kind of people that really embody this culture to me. You know, like
He was an
He-
interesting guy.
he would like basically make fun of like people who take it very seriously, and also would get out his emotions through it, and you know, also poke fun at like just shitty stereotypes and like certain like hateful like pieces of society. He was, you know, he loved satire and he loved being a goofball, and he was also like, you know, like a giant Polish like like sex machine. So.
I don't know how people listen to Typo Negative and think that he's taking it super seriously.
I mean, if you see him and the face he makes,
Yeah.
because he's got the Eastern European realness, it's like,
But he's got a song about hair dye.
yeah, I mean, literally though, if you listen to it and you don't listen to the lyrics very carefully, it's like, wow, this is really intense and spooky.
I always remember where I was the first time that somebody told me that Peter Steele was in Playgirl magazine.
Wait,
I think
Peter
everyone
Steele,
does.
is he a
I
did
don't-
porn?
No,
That's a different
he should
Steele?
have been.
He was in
That's a
Playgirl
porn
magazine.
name.
I mean, that is porn. I
It
guess,
wasn't
yeah.
like porn,
Yeah,
but
I know
it
what
was.
you mean.
It was, Playgirl magazine.
You saw the whole thing.
Would I know a song by this gentleman?
Black
Type-
number one.
Yeah, I mean that's the one everybody goes to.
Was it on a soundtrack?
Christian
of
woman.
anything?
Was it ever on? Now that's what I call music.
No.
Volume
Was it
1
ever
through
featured
20?
on pop-up video?
Maybe everything dies.
Yes.
Was it
It's
on
the
the-
kind of thing where if you heard it, you'd be like, "Oh, this sounds like you." He's got a very distinctive voice, so it's very hard to mistake him once
Does
you
he
hear
sound
him.
like Morrissey?
No.
Oh, I'm glad you're here, by the way, Nick, because
Like
Nick,
Morrissey, if you slowed the record down.
Yes.
Nick yesterday at lunch, we work together now, and
Hello.
he goes, Robert Smith from The Cure.
Smith.
Yeah.
Yes.
Robert Smith is good Morrissey.
Oh, yeah.
Morrissey is
He's
evil Morrissey.
chaotic. No. Oh yeah. So it's Robert Smith is lawful Morrissey. Morrissey is evil Morrissey. I got it all wrong. And then the guy from Echo and the Bunnymen is chaotic Morrissey.
Wow.
I don't
For some
know.
reason.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm not exactly like the expert, but at the table, I feel like I might slightly be more of the expert. I mean,
Go for it.
you know stuff.
I don't
know.
entirely
Oh no,
disagree with
we're
that.
little
I
baby
don't know
boys. We don't know
many
anything.
things.
Morrissey is
boys.
kind of a classic complete scumbag genius. So
Yeah.
it's kinda
Yeah,
tough.
like love is art, but like he's totally an edgelord.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
takes himself way too
I thought about it.
seriously.
I was like, he would be the. I switched it out in my mind. I didn't say this
Oh.
part to you, but Susie Sue was neutral. I was
Okay.
like, because she took some she had some early, what would you call it? They with all the punk people back then kind of played with Nazi iconography.
Oh, yeah,
and I
yeah.
thought that was kind of fucked up. So I'm like, that's neutral. And then I'm like, Morrissey's a full Nazi, and then Robert
You know,
Smith.
she
As far as
was-
I know, they weren't. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was,
she
The
was
point was
really
to-
inspired by the Sex Pistols
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the early movement of punk in
Yeah.
the UK. So I never really read about her with the
It was
Nazi,
more
of-
but army coats and
looks-
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the whole like early punk, the punk really pulled a whoopsie doopsie with the Nazi thing because the original thing
they were
was to
having a
freak out the
laugh.
squares. Yeah, that was
and
the
now
And
idea.
then
it's
there
like
were
Nazi
Nazi
punks.
And then
fuck
there's Nazi
off.
punks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody local that I started listening to their music, they call themselves acoustic punk, which is also sometimes known as folk punk. But they have a song called "Proud Boys Fuck Off," and I was
Mm. Nice.
like, yes,
Very cool.
So
It's
you
an
know,
HD remake.
right?
I'd like to see.
Saying-
Did you see Green Room? The movie Green Room.
Oh my god, that movie is heavy.
Fucking rules.
It's
Never
so
seen
heavy.
it.
Oh, it's so good.
Required viewing.
Yes,
I don't want to think about Picard in that way.
that's true.
Can we talk about
honestly.
how great Robert Smith is? Because
Oh my god, I love Fat Bob.
That's why I have a bass 6.
No, he was the first person that took me from the Beatles to new wave and all of this crazy goth music and basically the rest of my life. Genuinely. Disintegration. I
it's
got a
one of the greatest
copy
albums.
of that and I listened to it on repeat for a month.
It's
and my mom's
it's
like,
a really unbelievable
"You're
album.
making me sad." I'm like, I am sad.
Mom, it's Catharsis.
Yes, I know.
Friday the 25th in Hangar on the Hudson.
Oh my god, we're just gonna keep doing that.
Drop it in. Promo.
What is your favorite Cure album though?
Disintegration.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, are there people out there who don't think Disintegration is the best Cure album?
I love the Cure greatest hits, baby.
The Cure greatest hits is Disintegration.
I mean, there are other albums I really like. Wish is a really great album.
I don't know enough of that though. There's that one where they played the Boys Don't Cry. That's the first one. They start out hot.
It's a good song.
Starting out hot, but I feel like that album was a little different from their later stuff. I know a lot about this.
Disintegration is a little unique amongst their albums. It's got really its own sound.
It really
I
does.
would.
It's
agree.
very adjacent to the dream pop and shoegaze stuff that was coming out around
Yeah,
the same time.
no, Heaven or Las Vegas by Cocteau Twins and,
Yeah,
and
that album is
Disintegration together
unbelievable.
is happiness, sadness.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of a lot of the late 80s, early 90s dream pop and shoegaze stuff.
That's
so
Nicky boy there.
I love that stuff.
I do too.
I'm full Cocteau Twins on the political spectrum of dream to goth. I don't even know how it would. I'm just on that
Her voice
that
is
world.
unlike any other, and
Yeah.
she was literally a gift to this world,
She's
and
a living ghost.
we don't deserve her. I'm
Do you
just
know-
saying.
Out
Do you know
there.
the story behind the song that she does with Massive Attack?
I don't know the story, but I just recently
Which
Was it
song is
inspired
it?
by a
Teardrop.
real
Teardrop,
It was
yeah.
inspired by a real teardrop, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
so
someone saw one.
if anybody doesn't know what the song Teardrop is, you should look it up and listen to it because it's
If you've
an
seen
amazing
House,
song.
you've heard
Yeah, it's the theme
Teardrop.
for House, but without the vocals,
it is?
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a theme for House, but it has vocals
never
by
watched
the
that
singer
show.
Cocteau Twins, and it's really amazing. And I found out pretty recently that she was very good friends with Jeff Buckley, and she was scheduled.
They had like a relationship.
were
Yeah, and
almost.
she was.
I think at the
she was
time he
scheduled to
died.
record the vocals for that, and found out he died like that day, and she performed that just after finding out that he had died.
Ooh,
I didn't know that part.
Which, if you go back and listen to this song, it just makes the song so heart
She
wrenching.
probably had real teardrops
Yeah,
going on.
real live teardrops.
yeah.
No,
It's
have you heard the song they did together that never officially got released?
no, I don't think I have.
All flowers in time bend towards the sun.
Hmm.
Oh my god, it'll make you cry. They didn't get to edit it, so their laughter is in
Yeah.
there. It's
Oh,
just
it's
the most pure
heartbreaking.
Oh, no.
thing ever. No,
So
this is
good.
why I'm actually goth, guys. No, I mean, yeah, no, I love their story. It's sad, but also just she's with the one of the people from Spiritualized though. They're married.
Really? The
Yeah.
spaceman?
The spaceman.
One of the 3 spacemen? There
Yeah.
were 2 of them.
How about
Yeah.
Slow Dive? Let's talk about Slow Dive.
Oh
Well,
my
I just want to say real quick,
God.
Elizabeth Fraser was also on a song by This Mortal Coil, and they're a goth band, and I know them.
I mean that song is also just
In a lot of movies.
and perfect
and really
It's-
good.
Yeah, no.
Um,
Siren
Slow
song.
Dive's good too, though.
Yeah.
That new Slow Dive album is really good.
They were.
I
it's
haven't
so,
listened to it.
So good.
It's so weird when a band comes back and they're
It's so
good.
weird that them and
Yeah.
My Bloody Valentine both came back.
It's something
And
about
both-
the shoegaze.
and both did
and
amazing.
Mazzy Star, shoegaze adjacent.
Oh,
They
yeah.
they're it's like all of them. They came back and it's like this could have came out in god dang 1995 and I wouldn't even been none the wiser.
This conversation makes me feel old. Because
I'm sorry. I was born in 93.
Yeah, this is like
I'm not
old
that
school
old.
music for you
He's
guys.
nice.
I was born in also 93.
What month is your birthday?
February.
February. So you're almost exactly 10 years older than me, or younger than me.
You're a lot
Nice,
older.
like,
nice
whoa.
try, Brendan.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
not
like,
16.
I'm like, yeah, I remember being in high school and listening to this shit.
I was also in high school when I listened to it. If that makes
Yeah,
you
but
feel
it
any
had been
better.
out for like 30 years by
Yeah,
then.
when I was listening to it, it was 2016.
Yeah, it's man, there was so much good music in the 90s.
Yeah, there
I've
was.
heard- I'm still
Chris has been
catching up.
he's been listening to Ministry, so I've been
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to get him to listen to Godflesh.
No, he does. He does. He needs to listen to Street Cleaner.
That Chris.
Chris, we're talking to you
Chris,
directly.
what
Chris,
did I
Chris,
what did I
listen
say?
to Street Cleaner.
I said 2 days ago, I said you should listen to Street Cleaner by Godflesh if you like Filth Pig by
Hey,
Ministry.
Chris, this is
Listen
your,
to the expert. Listen to Street Cleaner.
This is
Chris kept-
your substitute. I'm you. This is Chris. You gotta listen to the Manic Street Cleaners.
Street Cleaner.
Chris, when he first started listening to Ministry, just started tweeting at Trent Reznor and being like, "Yo, you should check out Ministry."
I
You
thought you were
love
gonna say
them."
he started tweeting at the church.
He started-
He
yeah.
started tweeting at the Pope.
So I've got this theory about goth stuff in general.
Yeah.
That I think that Marilyn Manson inadvertently commandeered the whole thing in the public eye.
Well,
don't
once
know.
Columbine happened and all that fun stuff.
I know. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
I was in high school.
That put a lot of subcultures under the micro.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
old
Yeah, but
microscope.
they really zeroed in right there, and he became the face of a lot of stuff. I mean,
and Doom.
it was weird that the media
Yeah,
breached
gamers
talked-
too.
Gamers didn't make
Well, they
it
also
out
talked
on
about
stage.
Rammstein. I think they even talked about KMFDM at
Yes,
the
they
time.
did
and blamed
briefly,
KMFDM
but-
for it.
So
So
fucking
weird.
It was
stupid.
more focused on Marilyn Manson.
Yeah,
But
and
he
he-
was also exploding at the time.
Yeah,
his
it was
career taking
perfect
off.
timing.
Yeah.
But he kind of became this poster boy for a scene that I don't really think he really matches up with very much.
No, he doesn't really, and it's more shock rock, which I kind of hate that terminology. But
Yeah.
Well, he cites his influences as more he cites as being more in the lineage of Ozzy Osbourne and even Jim Morrison or Alice Cooper.
Yeah,
Of that,
more
like you said,
rock.
shock rock kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't cite himself as being an
Shocking rock and
outgrowth of
roll.
the goth scene.
no,
I think it's
and
just the aesthetic.
it's the aesthetic. I mean, he was associated with people who crossed over into KMFDM and stuff that were eventually helping him program and create albums. But no, I don't really. I like him, Rob Zombie, and then like who else? There are a couple bands where I'm like, that's
Korn?
not goth. Korn,
Yeah.
Rammstein, like those four. It's like
Rammstein.
no.
Rammstein's their own. They're their own little sliver of the world.
They're just your weird German neighbors.
See,
just
this is a whole
just
world.
let them do what they do.
Put on a hell of a show, though.
This
I
is
would
a-
totally see them.
I've
but
seen them. It's
I can't
awesome.
spin them in a bar because
Yeah.
like people just want Du Hast and I can't.
It's not even that good of a song.
It's
for
I
them.
no, it sucks
not.
compared to they've got some other good ones.
I
too.
saw them in 2001 with Slipknot and System of a Down.
So you guys are just talking about bands that used to scare me as a child.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
have to
I
withdraw
mean,
from
that's
this.
what I'm here for. I'm here to scare you.
That's a good
there's-
album name right there.
Dude, I still
I'm here to
Here
scare
to
you.
scare.
I'm pretty sure I'm
Because I
still.
care.
While we're on the, about the permission slip, can you like write my mom a letter and say that I can listen to Slipknot now because that was like
Yeah.
expressly forbidden when I was a kid. They're
Dear
like,
mom, it's actually a ska band. It's fine.
they're not that hard. It's not that scary.
Well,
They
that's
just-
the joke that's been going around. There's like, if there's more than this many people in a band, they're a ska band. So like, I'm just like, yeah, no, it works.
Any
There actually
orchestra.
was
Pick it up or
another
get out.
band. When Slipknot came out, there was another band called Slipknot, a much smaller band, and there was like a name argument between
Oh
them.
shit.
And they were like a ska band or something. I think they were like a Mighty
What
Mighty
a
Boss
different
Stones kind
world
of
we
thing.
could have been in.
Oh my god, ska would have
that's-
been so huge.
it's just
would
the
have
name. The
been-
name had that psychic energy.
If
and
Slipknot
it
had
carried them
all
to
the
top.
same aesthetic but played ska,
I wish
be
ska.
so sick.
I wish ska was legal.
Basically, how I feel about it too. Yeah.
Pick it up.
Do you guys want to play a game?
Sure.
Okay, we're gonna play.
Okay, but like Saw though, like
Now,
no.
I would have used the vocoder and stuff if we were going to play a solid game. So this is famous jingles, but chopped and screwed and weird up.
Oh no.
And so you
Okay.
guys call them out if you know them.
Okay.
I'm going to start at a high BPM because the samples will get weirder. And if I don't, I'll drop it down. How's that sound?
I'm just freaking out, man.
Okay, here we go.
wait, how does this game work? Are we buzzing in?
Do we
Like,
honk?
Just
Do we
just
yell it
be-
out?
Just be fucking cool, Brendan.
Can we
Whoa.
honk like a
Be cool,
goose?
bro. Be cool.
be cool, be cool.
I'm gonna
Alright.
give it a little honk. when
Give it
I
a honk.
know. Wait, what's the penalty if we honk and we don't get the right answer? Did you even think about that, Andy?
Yeah, this doesn't sound like a game. It
I'm
sounds
not
like
a fucking fascist. We're not playing a fascist game. This is just for funsies.
Can I
you
read the
said we were going to
instructions?
play a game, and then it's really just an excuse for you to play little ditties you put together.
They're not
Yeah.
ditties. They're
These are
not fun to
EPs.
listen to.
All right, if you lose, depending on what you're afraid of, I'm gonna make you endure it. Like,
No.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
afraid of needles, so let's please move forward.
I mean, technically, I could do that, but we don't need to go there. That's a little dark.
I'm afraid of wet bread.
Me too, dude.
It's terrifying.
Oh no.
All right. Number 1. Call it if you know it. Gotta turn on the volume first.
God damn it. It does sound good.
Any guesses?
God, just so everybody knows, there's nothing wrong with the audio.
Oh no, these are old commercials. They sound like shit.
Is it the song "The Boys Are Back in Town"?
Nope, it's a jingle.
It's a jingle.
That's a.
Can you give me?
I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. Slower.
A honk. It's a Folgers. Folgers. It's Folgers. Honk. Honk honk. It's Folgers. Ooh, seamless.
Wow.
If there are any that are specifically local, I'm from Michigan, so that's not.
I made sure
gonna-
not to do that.
Yeah, I'm
Yay.
sorry. I haven't even owned a television since I lived out here, so I don't even know
Are
what
they old?
happens.
They're all like around our age.
Sweet.
Okay.
You'll know them.
Are they all
think.
coffee based?
They're all coffee, different ones. Okay,
You
here's
got the Cafe Bustelo jingle in there somewhere.
number 2.
Oh, is it Oscar Mayer?
I was
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
the
It
same
sound-
thing.
all I could think of was the
Honk, honk.
sound at the end of that Beatles album.
Number 9. Number 9.
Yeah, run that back. Can you put a little reverse on that? It's terrifying. I like it. See, this is real music.
All
The new
right.
Kanye album.
None of that Justin Bieber Fortnite stuff. It's the real deal, man.
All right. Here's number 3.
I definitely can tell they're saying Gundam
They are saying, yeah, it's a Gundam.
or condom. Is it a Gundam condom?
Slowing it down.
Is it like a toy commercial? Wow.
Food commercial.
Is it a gum commercial?
Nope. Wait, I'll
Is
do
it
it.
savory?
I will freestyle it.
Lucky Charm?
Yep.
Oh, I thought it said tragic arms. Okay.
I forgot the Lucky Charms had a jingle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
They all
cereal
do.
doesn't
Good.
have a jingle anymore.
Good
It
on
doesn't.
ya.
Oh my
these,
god.
these millennials will never
Different
or the
worlds.
Zoomers will never know the world of.
Of
Just a
jingles.
cereal.
world.
There are several like songwriters out there who didn't actually get to be real songwriters that now don't even have that.
Mm.
They were the cereal crew. Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, number 4 coming at you.
Cece's Pizza and pasta and salad.
Slowing it down.
See, this is like a song I would listen to. Is this Reese's Puffs cereal?
Close though.
Cocoa Puffs.
Peanut butter adjacent. Oh no, peanut butter. It's a peanut
Oh,
butter.
Skippy?
Yeah.
Skippy to go?
It's the fucking.
Oh my god. I was
That's
gonna say
kind of
it
like-
sounded like a Skinny Puppy song, but yeah.
That's
Skippy-
a good
it's Skippy
song.
Puppy.
Can you run that
Skippy
back?
Puppy. When I first saw them, that came out of my mouth just naturally, and I was like,
Skippy
I'm keeping it.
Yeah, I'll play that. That one's a fucking bop.
Yeah, that's like a good drum sound.
All right, number 5. What's the score right now? Nick, you've gotten like 3, and then Tyler, you got 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got nothing.
This is all I know.
I'm
This
surprised
is the
Brendan's
only
not better
thing
at this because I
can
feel
be
like you
good
got the
at.
golden ear. All right, here we go.
Toys R Us kid.
Close.
It's a kid thing. Oscar Mayer.
They're selling children.
Is it Cars for Kids?
Yes.
God damn it.
Cars.
Nick, you just discovered your superpower.
I'm speed running this.
KARS, cars for kids. All right, number
That's
6.
No bueno.
You don't like that commercial?
Hurts me.
All right, here we go. Coming at you.
Oh.
It's weird, right? You
feel
hear the
this.
parts that hit your
I can
brain.
feel this. I'm getting a real body high off this.
This is actually a sativa sample. Yeah,
Nice.
slowing it down.
What the fuck?
1-800-LAW-1010.
Yeah.
Oh.
This song also a
Two
huge help.
That's local.
Is that a local commercial? That was what I was trying to figure
It's
out.
okay.
Is it? Okay.
Martin
You
Hardy
needed
and
a win.
Mazzotti.
Yeah, it's
Well-
Martin Harding and Mazzotti, the heavy
Do it
hitters do
again.
it again.
Let
Call
me
1-800-LAW-1010.
let me introduce you to the
the heavy hitters.
to the heavy hitters real quick.
Here they are.
Wait, actually, I'll just play the whole damn thing. I'll just trim it. You know.
1-800-LAW-1010.
That one's like funky.
This shit's so good.
Yeah.
It's great to make songs out of. Okay, last
Are you
one.
keeping these?
Am I keeping them to make songs out of? Probably not. All All right, last one.
But that would be a great interview on VH1 on your behind the music.
The heavy
Like, what
hitters.
was what did you sample to make your big hit?
Jake. Martin Hardy and
Well, it was the Care Bears theme, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't hold it against.
I'd love to have like a British accent on that too. Just be like, "Whoa, what, mate? You know, that's a terrible British accent."
No,
Wow.
that's spot on.
I have one
Olivia.
I have one British
Olivia's
accent,
gonna be
and
mad at
it's
you.
a very old, large man. It's just, well, then, what's your mission? And it's not good. It's
Just
bad.
listen to With Sympathy, like the first Ministry album,
Oh
and
my
listen to
God.
Al Jorgensen pretend to be British. You'll be
Ooh.
set.
pretend to be British, and then also kind of pretend to be Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah,
It's so weird.
What
it's
the
a great
heck?
album, but it is very weird.
It is like a alternate universe
It
version
is.
of Ministry.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a great story. I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and my girlfriend at the time, like, was at a flea market
Mm-hmm.
and came across the cassette. I remember this is like when I'm in high school, it's like 1998.
You can
So,
mostly only find like Red Hot Chili
There was
Peppers
no
there,
like
too.
go online and like find out that Ministry had old albums that sounded different. So she found this cassette, and it was With Sympathy. And she's like, "Oh, look, I found this Ministry cassette and I got it for you." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And I put it on, and I'm like, "Did somebody dub over this? What the hell is this?"
They're having a laugh.
And then I was like, "I kind of like it. But what the hell is this?" And it took years before I found out that he had just like basically was trying to do something totally different at first.
But like Brendan, every day is Halloween.
It's so weird.
One day's especially Halloween.
Actually, that's a question I did want to ask. Is Halloween? Do goths feel the Halloween is their time, or is it amateur night?
I mean, in a lot of ways, it's amateur night, but it's also like, yeah, you know, it is kind of like we get the best like home decor around this time for super cheap. I'm just saying.
It's good to walk around during this time. It's a very spooky time. They put Halloween this time of year for a reason.
Oh, you're saying because of the turning
it
of the
gets
season?
dark early. The trees
Yeah, no, I
are
came
dying.
here and I was like, am I being like, am
Yeah,
I
this
gonna
is a
be
murder
jumped?
alley.
Like,
Sorry.
what is- I was like, here we go. This is it.
it's beautiful during the daytime.
Didn't think
There's
it would
lots of
happen on a
trees to look
podcast.
at.
No.
I did.
By the way-
I'm going to die on a podcast.
By the way, Ministry
Mark my
also
words.
Ministry also has a live album called "In Case You Didn't Feel Like Showing Up."
Okay, but like
feel
the
like I've
actual
heard.
recording, like the video recording of that is like legendary.
I used to have the DVD in like high school.
Yeah,
It's so
my
good.
partner has the VHS still.
His
nice.
their performance of The Fall on there is like
Is the Fall God
They performed in a cage,
the band?
it's so good.
like to keep the band from the crowd or whatever. Like it was ridiculous.
To keep the band from the crowd, not the other way around.
Yeah, yeah.
Is Screamin' Jay Hawkins goth?
I don't even know what that sounds like.
It's
I
like-
put a spell on you.
Yeah.
I mean, that song's totally gone,
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
It's been covered by like 30,000 people, and they're all good.
including Marilyn Manson.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
his cover's really good.
Honestly, like that is the one cover that everyone's done that I think it always sounds
Because
pretty
the
good.
original
His
so
cover is good,
It's got good
But like he
energy.
recently just covered a Johnny Cash song, and I don't know how to feel.
No.
Which song?
God's gonna cut you down.
Oh,
I was just like, I don't think you needed to do this, man.
yeah.
Whenever anybody talks about covers in Johnny Cash, they think of that. They obviously think of.
They think of
Hurt
Hurt by
by
Nine
Hurt.
Inch Nails.
Listen,
But-
Trent gave it away.
He did, but his cover of Soundgarden's "Rusty Cage" is even better.
Yeah, it is.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah, Johnny Cash's cover.
He
It's
covered
good.
"Rusty Cage."
What?
I'm
It's on the
gonna
same
break.
album.
I'm gonna break my. That's my
Johnny
Johnny,
Cash.
Johnny
It-
Nixon.
It's so good, but nobody knows about it because everybody thinks of "Hurt."
I'm gonna
Can
have
I
to
just-
go and listen to that.
You
It's
can
after
great.
listen
this.
to it right after this.
Can I just do a quick sidebar?
Yeah.
My favorite cover song of all time
Yes.
is Shonen Knife covering My Bloody Valentine. They
Yes.
turned it into a doo-wop song.
Yes.
And it fucking
Yes,
rules.
yes, yes,
they do one of them. But,
Mine is
Oh,
"Torn"
that's
by
my
Natalie Imbruglia, which is a cover.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Yep,
You're blowing my mind right now. What's
No,
the
no, no,
original?
no,
Wait,
no.
what?
What the
"Torn"
fuck?
by Natalie Imbruglia
What's
is a
it a cover
cover of "Torn." It's
By
sung by
who?
somebody else, and Natalie Imbruglia covered it.
What are you doing to me right now?
That's right.
I put that song on last week. I love that song.
Yeah.
This is how I feel.
Yep.
I'm cold and I'm alone.
That's a cover.
lying naked on the floor.
Yep.
Why is she naked
Illusion
on the floor? Like, I feel like that's like a part that like glossed over because I was young, but like that seems like kind of serious.
I mean, it's
You know?
just having a mood, you know?
I mean,
Everyone has
before Britney, like having her meltdown,
Oh,
like
yeah.
there was that.
That's
I'm
true.
just saying.
She had a music video where she wore big clothes. And I thought that was sick as hell. Like baggy pants, loose fitting shirt, a hoodie, good look.
You get a number, you get a 1 out of 1 on my list.
The best
Very
part.
inspiring for me.
The best part about your sense of humor, Nick, is that I never know why it's funny.
I don't either.
It just is funny.
Thank you.
All right, final song, and then we will say our goodbyes.
Okay.
Are you guys ready?
It's definitely by the Who.
Yep, this is the Who. Slowing her down.
It's something soft. Is it something soft?
I guess in a way
Can
it
you
is.
eat it?
Downy?
No,
No.
Can you eat it?
you can eat it.
Is it sweet or savory?
This is not. This is not an interrogation. I said this was
cream.
not a fascist game.
Is this a commercial for ice cream?
This.
A dollop of daisy? Is it?
Oh, is this Crumbelievable?
No. Wait, I'm gonna freestyle it.
It's
Okay.
funky. What?
Oh,
What
guys.
in the heavens?
$5 footlong. What
Oh
the
my gosh. Got it.
Okay. Thank you guys so
How
much.
did you not have an I'm loving it in there?
Bless you.
I thought that was too pedestrian, so I went for Cars for Kids.
No,
instead.
always Coca-Cola.
I
What the
would
fuck's
have.
always Coca-Cola?
I would have loved the Crumbelievable though.
Yo,
Because even when I hear that song, I
How
still say
the
Crumb.
version that I remember.
No,
too.
Mr. Bucket, put your
It's
balls in my top.
What?
What?
What in the Gen X is that?
Elephant the Elephant.
Am I alone? Does anybody else remember Mr.
I
Bucket?
remember that.
I
So-
remember Elephant the Elephant.
Wait, no,
Yes.
Mr. Bucket
Watch
was a
him.
game, and this bucket rolls around the floor and shoots balls out of his mouth, and you got to pick him up and put him in his head. And the commercial's like, Mr. Bucket, put your balls in my top. Out of my mouth they will pop.
No. Step.
They knew what they were doing, those freaks.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, there was a question I wanted to
Oh,
ask.
go
that
ahead. This is the
Is there-
post-interview section now.
I feel like you'd be an expert. When I was 16, I went into work and I told my boss that I was listening to the Cockatoo Twins, and he laughed at me and was mean. Was he in the right?
Yes, but now I really want Cockatoo Twins over like a cockatoo just like freaking.
I was
yeah.
very earnestly excited. I was like, I just found this cool new band.
I think I actually might have called them the Cockatoo Twins once on
Just
accident.
ruined my world.
It's okay. I sent you a Facebook message and I was like, "Is it Detroit? Like Des Moines? Like
Yeah.
The Troit.
Yes. No, I mean, I just did that as a play on words because I don't know, crushing it and all
Yeah.
that fun
Detroit.
stuff.
Detroit?
Yeah.
I also want to know. I also said Siouxsie and the Banshees because I mean, why would you know how to say that word?
Susie.
I was like, it's Siouxsie.
Like
I mean, I didn't know how to say-
Indians. No.
I was
We had-
not very.
We had the Haudenosaunee up here. That was
yeah,
ours.
I think we were. Yeah, I was not educated.
we had Algonquin and Haudenosaunee.
I don't have a lot of thoughts in my head.
I have to work on my literacy too, so I think that we should all work on literacy together.
I've forgotten how to
I just
speak.
want to make sure that everybody remembers to come out on Friday. Costumes encouraged,
Oh!
not required. There will be burlesque, and come see me make a fool of myself doing drag and burlesque, if you could call it that, for the first time. It'll be fun, and it'll be interactive. So be ready
Yes.
for that.
Come have fun.
Yeah,
You'll have
sounds
so much fun with all the fun people.
yeah. Hang around the Hudson, 9 p.m. till 2 a.m.
Is dancing allowed?
Fuck yeah, dancing is
Nice.
allowed.
Oh, okay, so-
I was just checking.
Because there's the footloose law that they have, you know. They make dancing illegal for 24 hours any time of the year, and they'll put you in jail.
Dancing
Don't
is
put
for-
baby in a corner and don't put goths in a corner.
Don't put
either.
cops in
Yeah.
jail.
I'm saying.
All right. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I'm just thinking about a goth baby. I'll see you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you so much, Tyler, for coming on.
Thank you for having
Check out
me.
DJ Destroy. I got myself freaked up. B? Nice.